Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're looking at this thumbnail, you might think to yourself, but Mike, we've seen this before. What are you showing us? Well, in the last video I compared the H1 FW450 version versus the H1 scale version. Now the only way I could really get a fair comparison is by constructing a pod and boom heli. And don't let anybody tell you that that's illegal or it won't work. I tested the first video based on an FW450 and a Bell unit, and I wanted to see which one was quicker, faster, more agile, and the only way I could get a fair comparison is to construct, as I say, this little racer. But today we are going to compare the H1 FW450 version in here, still as unchanged as it was before, and the same heli, but this time with an H-Ace inside. And we're going to completely ignore the extra features that the Ace has got. We're going to judge it purely on flying. How do they fly? So in the first video, this one was ahead. Purely, well, when I say ahead, it was a little bit ahead, but basically purely based on the ascent speed that it had. But as you might have seen in one of my previous videos, the H-Ace also ascends very quickly. So now it's a very fair playing field, I would say. So let's see if the H-Ace has caught up to the agility of the FW450. We're purely concentrating on the way it flies, yes? So I'm going to start with the FW450. I haven't flown this in a while, so let me get my eye in there and then we'll go over to this one. 1, 2, 3 and run. Now I do remember that this heli is super smooth, super agile, flies well. So in GPS, in ATI mode, here we go. So you can hear that head speed is pretty much. Look, it's very agile. Yeah. Let's see the ascent rate. Wow. Okay, so it's actually still pretty good. This is not full down. It's pretty good. The Ace has got some beating to do here in this respect. Let's just quickly flick to GPS to make sure we have that locked in case we need it. Yes, we do. Okay, that's all I need to know. The tail rate is pretty ludicrous on this. Pretty ludicrous. I mean, that's pretty obnoxious, but it is what it is. That's definitely, I know that this has got a much higher tail rate, but it is a 3D helicopter, don't forget, you know. So we're in GPS, let's get into ATI mode, and beautifully stable. Let's fly. Now, I haven't flown this in a while. Yes, okay, it certainly is agile. In fact, I'm overflying it because I've flown the Ace for a little bit now, and so my rudder thumb is a bit exuberant. But yes, we're in. So there's some agility. Very nice. Look, I think the higher head speed is going to still top this the H1, to be honest. Still going to top it, but we'll see now once I flick to the H-Ace to see how it compares. Just going to get a little bit of stick time here, but yes, the tail rate on this is pretty rude, and I can hear that the head is humming along quite nicely. Look, I don't have a tool to measure the head speed, but it does fly. Let's see the ascent. Yes, now that's what I have learned to remember about this heli. And the descent. Yes, okay. Still very impressive little unit. Very impressive little unit. Holds altitude nicely. Very agile. In fact, this tail is now actually a little bit too sensitive, if I were to put it that way. Let's check the ascent again. So full up. Okay. Full down. Full down, eh? Okay, not as responsive in the down as in the up. I think the Ace will beat it there. Look, anybody that's got an FW450, doesn't matter which version it is, as long as it's a gear drive, of course, which this is, you'll have no problems and no real reason to change. I can tell you that right now. And let's not forget, this is a 3D helicopter. Yeah, look, I'm not going to go into those fake 3D flips. They're not for me. And I'm also not going to fly it inverted. It's also not quite my bag. Very nice. Really nothing to complain about there. Look, this thing is tuned to within an inch of its life. Yes, it's not going to get any better than this. It's about as rude as it's going to get. Wow, that does certainly lean. Certainly leans. Okay, let's get the Ace into the air while the weather is still good, and let's see what that's all about. Atty, and 1, 2, 3, and run. Can tell you straight away that the tone of the head speed will be quite a bit less on this. So here we go. Okay, we don't have much up and down at the moment. So let's, there we go. No, still not. Okay, there we go. Right. Let's crank it into GPS mode to make sure we have something. There we go. GPS. Nice. Let's check the tail rate. You will see now this is at 100%. It can't go any more. So here we go. That's full. It's not even half the speed of the FW450. Okay, but then again, this is a scale helicopter, so that is to be understandable. Let's check the climb rate. That's pretty good. I'll try and, if I can, put them side by side. So let me get a nice clean run. Let's say from eye height, climb rate. The down is quicker than the H1, that I can say straight away. Let's check the agility. Looks pretty much on par. Yeah, pretty much on par. Let's fly her around. Now that flying feels pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. You know, once you're going. But the ascent is definitely, I would say, let's see. Okay, I can tell you now that there is a little bit of a buffer just here. I'll go low down. Go low down and give it full up, and you'll see at about a meter. But this is also very inconsistent, eh? It doesn't happen all the time. So I'll go here. I'll give full up, slow, nothing, and suddenly it goes, you see. So, but that doesn't always happen. I cannot quite nail it down. Yesterday, when I was here, it would go up quickly. Also, yesterday, look, yesterday when I put full down, okay, this time I did go full down. I was going to say there was no buffer, and I thought there might be one now. But from here, the climb rate is pretty rude. So, okay, has the H-Ace scale caught up to the FW450 H1? Was there ever a competition like this? It feels pretty indistinguishable, I'll be honest. But if I were to give it to anyone, I would still give it to the H1, by the way. And now only because of this. But yesterday this was different. So if I'm here on the H1, full up, it would just climb. It doesn't hesitate. But yesterday this didn't hesitate either. So I don't understand what that's all about. Let's go into GPS mode. We've got, there we go. Look, that in GPS mode they're both pretty dialed in. I don't see any difference there. We're still in GPS. So there we go, guys. A quick comparison between the H1 450 and the H-Ace scale. H-Ace scale. It has caught up, it has improved dramatically. So kudos to that. And I think I've achieved what I wanted to achieve today, and I'm actually quite still very impressed with this. I mean, there's no getting around that. And you see this acceleration is a hit and miss. It's slow on full up, and now suddenly it goes full up. But it's still enjoyable. I mean, I still look how it drops there. Wow. So you can still crank it. You can absolutely crank it, and full up. Yeah, and full down. Full down. Yes. Now you can crank it around the sky. Okay, so who's the winner? I would say the H1 450 is still the champion as far as that's concerned. This has caught up very nicely, and for general sports flying, 100% serviceable, absolutely, and full up. Right, there's my battery. Oh, GPS. Let's land it. See, that's why we need a battery alarm. We forget how much fun we're having. And there. Right. Atty and land. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, for watching, and I hope we've learned something. Happy days.